I can really see how God used it to help prepare me for my mission trip to Guatemala. The Wild CIT Performance Program's goal is to build wholehearted, servant-minded teens for Christ, like leadership. We studied virtue, knowledge, self-control, endurance, godliness, brotherly kindness, and love. One that stuck out to me the most was virtue. Virtue is defined as purposing to develop and display the character of Jesus for the glory of God. Before that, I didn't really know what virtue meant. I kind of just assumed it was like, that person's good, or they follow the rules. So that was really something that hit me. CIT equipped me with the building blocks to develop virtue. It taught me about Christ-like leadership, which operates very differently than the world's leadership. It does not seek to get others to follow us. It seeks to influence others closer to Christ and his purposes. About a month after CIT, I went on my mission trip to Guatemala. And I'd like to sincerely thank you all for both your financial support and your prayers, because it wouldn't have been able to happen without any of that. The first week we spent time at the deaf school with the children and the adults. There's one in every 18 people in Guatemala are deaf, and that's like a lot of people. And the way that those people are treated is awful. From the time they can walk, they're handed a broom, and they're treated as a maid or a servant. Sorry. And their parents make no effort to communicate with them, other than to tell them to go clean the house or feed the animals. At the school, we spent time learning the Guatemalan Sign Language along with the children. We did some skits for them and taught them a few Bible lessons, which was really fun. And then we were helping out wherever we were needed. And most of all, we spent time with the children. That was probably one of my favorite parts of it. Because deaf people are rejected in society, they'll never push anyone away. And from the moment that we were around the kids, they were just, the first thing they do is come up and they give you a hug. And you can't cry too, okay?
Okay.
And then they try to communicate with you, which doesn't really work because we had no idea what they were saying with their hands. And they ask you their names, and then they'll assign you a name. I was given my sign name from the couple that the girls stayed with. My name is Ashleigh. So that is my sign name. The second week, we did a VBS-like program at a church in a different village. We had hearing and deaf children for the VBS. There were 3 rotating groups. There was a game team, a story team, and a craft team. And I was on the craft team. And then the older children had a photography team, which they loved. They had never held a camera before. During the morning, we had boys, because the girls go to school in the morning, and most of the time the guys will go to school in the evening. It was a very full day for us. We did 9 rotations in the morning, and then 9 in the evening as well. Our craft team had very long nights, preparing for crafts and lessons for the next 2 sessions the following days. Craft time was very difficult because most of the children could not write their names, and sometimes even their parents couldn't. Most people in Guatemala do not get above a 3rd grade education. The favorite craft of the boys was when we were decorating these shields that we had made. They thought it was the coolest thing that they got to make shields. The lesson for the shields was the armor of God, and so they ate it up and they loved it. The girls really liked it was a necklace or a bracelet, and they would braid it, and then in the middle they'd put a cross. And the lesson for that was why Jesus had to come and die for us, and how he died. The overall experience was very humbling to me. We were among people who had little materially, and they were willing to give it all to you, whatever they had. It was eye-opening to It was eye-opening how people in this culture live. For them, a small bag of chips and a Coca-Cola could be a meal. They don't have the opportunity for education like we do, and a lot of times there's just trash everywhere. So even though it's a beautiful country, it's dirty, and they don't get the attention they need for that. How did this trip change me? It made me aware of my selfish nature and my discontentment. So often I want more or want different, but I already have so much. The people of Guatemala have so little, yet share what they have so freely and with joy. I had never done any lesson planning before, so that was interesting. I often found myself getting frustrated and overwhelmed. At times I had to stop and remind myself what my purpose for being there really was. It wasn't about perfect crafts or an eloquent lesson. It was about faithfully obeying God's word, even in the face of difficulty and pressure. Knowing God's will and message can be communicated even when I get in the way. At the end of some things that we did there that were just my team and I, we got to go every Friday to get some ice cream with the missionaries. They would treat us to ice cream, and it was this really good ice cream. And it was espresso chocolate chip. It was so good. And then the last day, we got to hike up a volcano. And in the crater of the volcano was this Again, I'm so thankful that God allowed me to have this opportunity, and that y'all helped with getting me there. 1 Peter 2:9 says, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that should shew forth the praises of him who hath called you out of the darkness and into his marvelous light." Please continue to pray with me that the Guatemala